Okay.
Well, given that, Julie,
Oh,
take it
Julie.
away.
All right. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
All right, let me see what I can do here. I think I've got you guys.
Those are very wonderful drapes back there.
Oh, thank you. Let's see.
Are those like fall leaves or?
I think they are. I got them on Facebook Marketplace.
Wow.
I kind of troll. I mean, I like troll through like all of the listings. And let's see. Let me open up the link. I thought I had it open, and then of course I did not. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys.
Should be down at the bottom. Should have a.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All right. Very good. Okay. So I am going to, I think I need to get back to, I don't think I can operate it from here.
I know. I think if you just use the keyboard, you can go left and right, I believe.
Okay. Oh, I see. I think. Hang on. Let's try that. Okay. I'm in good shape. All right. So I figured we should start with Calvin. View of the cosmos. What can you tell us about this photo, Calvin?
Well, the little cosmos flower is about the size of the old silver dollars. It's not a very big bloom. We'll tell you that this is a bright yellow flower. It was shot in full sunlight, almost blown out because the sun was so intense on it, because there was no shade there. I was just out digging through the Wise flower garden here last summer, and I'm shooting different ones, and this was just kind of buried in all my files from last summer, and I told you I was kind of kicking around a lot of ideas what to use for this subject, and I stumbled across this image, and I thought that's got good symmetry because it mirrors each other. Both sides or opposites or diagonals mirror each other, and it's uniform. So I thought, why not? So I started playing with it. And you see what I did with the Photoshop. I brought it down. Didn't really do any hard burning or dodging on this. I did a little bit of dodging around the center where the seed pods or the seed, or what do they call those down in there in the very center. I did a little dodging in there, but other than that, it was really just playing with the exposure and the overall tones on it to get that image.
And did you like how did you photograph it? Was it on velvet, or how did you get those blacks?
All that black Photoshop. That's I just wiped out everything behind it because everything behind it was just bunch of stems and leaves and stuff like that. Because like I said, there's one little flower just poking its head up above some of the greenery behind it, and I just eliminated that and just took the entire background down to black.
You do that with layers?
I'm sorry.
Did you do that with layers?
Yeah, there's a few layers on this thing. Yeah, yes, I did. Always use layers when I do stuff like that, so that way if I goof up, I don't have to go back and start all over from the beginning again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a nice 3D effect. Like, with the leaves. I'm gonna just zoom in a little bit. But yeah, it definitely feels kind of three-dimensional. Very fun.
Calvin, I'm really loving the light on this. It is just really amazing.
Like I say, it was sunlight. I mean,
Yeah.
bright sunlight. Remember, this thing was bright yellow, or is bright yellow. And I just kept playing with the light and the tones and bringing it down little by little, where I came up with this image.
Yeah,
Very
I like your
nice.
soft, it kind of has soft sort of, I mean, it feels soft and, really, really beautiful. Yeah, and I mean, gosh, I mean, the composition's like really nice. I like your use of I think square is the right way to go with it. It's really pretty. It's just a really striking image. And there's nothing distracting in the background. You've done a really good job of eliminating anything that might take my eye away from this, beautiful cosmos. The lighting is really beautiful. Your depth of field is really nice. If your contrast is good. And your eye is just shoots right to the center. It's really, really nice. Did you have you one thing I've been playing with do you shoot in RAW?
Oh, yes, always shooting raw.
I've been kind of playing with the noise filter. There's this denoising, and that's kind of fun to work with. I don't think you need it here. I kind of enjoy this sort of the almost grain that you're kind of getting, but I've been playing with that a little bit and have been digging that. But no, this is nice. Anyone else have any comments?
I was going to ask, are you playing with that like in Lightroom or Photoshop for the denoise?
That's Photoshop.
Bridge. The denoising. I do that one in Bridge.
Camera Raw?
Camera Raw. Yeah.
Okay.
It won't work right now on anything except for Camera Raw. I mean, I'm sure that they might expand it eventually, but
I thought they already have expanded the denoise to Lightroom.
oh, maybe it's to Lightroom, but it won't work on a JPEG.
Oh yeah, because are you mainly shooting JPEGs or RAWs?
On a rare occasion I'll shoot JPEGs, but for the most part I shoot RAW. Like if I have to send photos from the field,
Okay.
sometimes I'll shoot JPEGs, but I don't like it. I prefer RAW. Kind of gives you more
Yes,
room to
I
play.
do too.
So anyone else have any comments on this one?
Way to go.
Very pretty. Very good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it is a nice one. All right, I'm going to go to the next one. This is Bill, right?
Right.
Yeah. What can you tell us about this photo, Bill?
Well, kind of a chance shot with a cell phone as I was walking out of this church. There'd been a service, and I like the way the church was built in the 60s, and I thought this was rather a different approach for how old the church was. But anyway, I thought it had some symmetry to it with the pews and the side panels.
Now your focus, it kind of falls right off, like right behind the altar. Like, have you done that in Photoshop, or did you plan that?
No, this was just a cell phone.
Gotcha.
Bill, was this in like portrait mode that it made that do that? Like fall out of focus like that extreme?
I don't remember. I usually don't shoot in portrait mode with a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has a real interesting look. Like your focus just falls right off, like right behind, the wall is just completely out of focus. And then everything leading up to it is in focus. What else can you tell us about it?
Well, it's a lot better in color. That's
Are you guys just doing black and white?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This that's actually stained glass on either side, which I thought was unusual. I guess because they don't have it. All the windows in the church are high, and I don't know. I just liked it.
Yeah. Anyone else have comments?
That overhead, it almost looks like it's coming out at a different angle, or is that just because the wall is kind of at an angle is in regard to the pews?
Well, the ceiling is is at a different angle, and
Right.
oddly enough, I'm standing in the center aisle, but you notice that the center thing is not exactly balanced. And
Right, yeah.
the
But you
side
got
panel,
about on the two parts of the side where it comes on there, but I was wondering if that centerpiece of the overhead, if that was made purposely to be a little off center
yeah,
or
yeah, I think it was. And if you look at
okay,
the altar down towards the middle there, it's really not in the center either. It's off on one side,
right,
which is unusual in a Catholic church because the altar is usually centered and the podium off on the left would be off a little bit more than what it is.
huh,
And the canopy is over the whole area is kind of one side is longer than the other.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, it's got a bit of it's a little jaunty.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, I think your composition on this is really it's really fun. I mean, it's, your depth of field is really good. Everything kind of I mean, you've got the aisle that kind of takes you right in to, the altar. And then beyond the altar, it's just like, really nice bouquet. Your background is nice. It's not distracting. Your contrast is really good. And I think the lighting is really, really nice on it too. And the tones are really good. Your eyes drawn right where you want it to go. I mean, I assume the altar is like exactly where you want the eye to go. And that's, I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. That's really great. It's a nice one.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have comments before we move on?
I wouldn't guess that was a cell phone.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed.
I'm still just confused because it just like feels like the door, because it says exit. Is this a mirror or because like those are like the exit doors, correct?
Yeah, on either side.
Yeah, but like the wall's like all the way back there.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't anything I could do except cut it if I cut it off. I don't know how. I'd have to go back and look at the church, but they have two exit doors.
Yeah. So I guess my mind's thinking like, well, like
And those
what's
aren't the
like,
main doors.
oh, okay.
I think they're just there in case there's a fire or something because but there's no way to eliminate them if you're going to try to get the whole stained glass thing.
Okay, okay. Huh. I'm not, yeah, I'm just a little confused now.
Well, I could have cropped in a little closer, but then I was afraid I'd lose the pews.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it definitely feels like a vertical to me. That's so funny that focus is just, I'm just gonna, because that's like, yeah, that focus just drops off like a rock.
Mhm.
No, it's
Yeah.
nice. It's definitely doesn't distract you from, what you're looking at. That's
It
very
kind of
cool.
reminds me of like a Black Mirror episode or what's like the Twilight Zone, because like it looks like it's like just 2D but it's like a 3D,
Yeah.
so it kind of just like looks like just like a stage almost, but there's actually
I,
something back there.
yeah, I agree with you. It does look like a stage, and that's what we were sitting. We were on the right hand side. Yeah, it really looks weird when you're in there because it does look like a stage setup.
Yeah, it's like it just looks flat, but there's exit doors right there.
And normally you wouldn't have a canopy over the crucifix that's kind of off center. Usually it would be maybe in the background, but very seldom over the area.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very cool. Well, we can move on if you guys want. All right. So we have fork and shadows. This one's do you want to tell us about this one, Tom?
Yeah, I've been playing around in the shop with shadows and some macro stuff and whatever, and I just thought this one kind of caught my eye as far as the symmetry of the three forks and the shadows. Just kind of everything kind of tied together in a triangle at the break between the back and the floor, if you will, of the shot. So that's it.
Anyone else want to chime in with ideas or thoughts?
Well,
Yeah,
my only idea,
oh,
go ahead.
go. Oh, no, you go, Calvin.
I'm sorry. Only thing I wish if you could have, Tom, if you could have put a little bit more of that fork on the left side in there, where you could have got the bottom of it, so where we can see the bottom of the fork, and the shadow of it going up towards that wall or backboard or whatever it is they're standing up against. See, like
Yeah.
I would have left that in there because the three together would have kind of made I think it would have made a stronger image if it had all three of them, in full, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I played with that, and there's something about the way when I extended it, it just didn't come off as good as I wanted. So
Okay,
anyway, I just
that's fair.
I understand.
Did you shoot this one specifically for this assignment, or was this something that,
No, I was playing around with a lot of shadows of different things. I mean, there's a lot of utensils in the kitchen that really give you some crazy shadowing. I tell you, like a food grater and all. I mean, it's kind of neat. I did some stuff with an egg and an egg beater and shining the shadows of the egg beater down on the egg, and just various things like that. But this one, from a symmetry standpoint, being the three in a row, kind of, I figured it would fit the symmetry part.
Tom, I was gonna say potentially to go like maybe down and more to the right so you can get that third fork like Calvin was saying. Or you could go that way, or either potentially like center it and just lower so you get the fork and then the shadow and maybe just like a little bit off to the side, possibly.
Okay,
Um,
shoot at a lower angle to the forks.
yeah, because if you just shoot it straight on, then you won't get any shadow. But if you maybe go off to, like a little bit to the side,
Yeah,
then
well, that's what I meant. Come down, still keep the shadows in there, but come
yeah,
down
yeah,
closer to the bottom.
yeah. Because I really wanted to see that last fork,
Okay.
if it's actually like stainless steel or if it's sterling silver. So
Okay.
yeah.
I got another idea, Tom.
Yep.
What if you included the shank or the full hand, the tang or whatever you want to call it, of all three forks and the shadows, and then turn it 90 degrees to the right?
Turn the shot night like I'm looking underneath the forks.
But turn the image 90 degrees.
Or
Oh,
so the forks are going down?
Well, so the forks are kind of
Horizontal?
going. Well, actually, I don't know how else I can explain it. If you took the whole image and just turn it 90 degrees,
then the forks would be horizontal.
right? The forks and the
which
shadows would be horizontal. I don't know. I mean, it's it might be interesting. It may not be. I don't know.
or you could just crop up to the top, and like in the middle of the handle, then they would all be cropped. So it'd be like a horizontal just at the top.
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, okay. Yeah, if I just cropped up a little bit from the bottom, all the ends of the forks would be gone.
And then they would all be in like a,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want that line on the bottom to end in
Oh,
the corner.
Right.
So
hmm
I'd have to come up higher. I guess if I came up,
yeah, because
real high and just
yeah, I
blotted out
was
the whole background and just had the
the
last
tops of
part
it.
of the fork. Yeah. I don't know.
Because I feel like it's like the fork, the top that you really can tell it's a fork, not the bottom.
Yeah, correct.
Just another thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love these discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's you can do a lot of stuff with this. You come up with all kinds of different takes on this image.
No,
Well,
well,
I did. I had quite a few with the forks but different, it just didn't fit the symmetry category, if you will.
Okay.
I have a lot of other shadows with forks, but it just didn't fit the category.
no, Tom, how exactly is this lit? Is this just like natural light or is it an actual like LED light?
LED light
Okay.
shining off from the left down. Yeah. Yeah, it was down in my shop. So yeah, it was no natural light at all.
And what do you use for your background?
Let's see, that was just white felt, I believe. I've got some white felt that I wrap around cardboard for a backdrop. I have it both in black and also white. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Or I might just have that with some white construction paper.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know the one on the bottom is wrapped around cardboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like the ideas I've heard, but I also kind of like the mystery of like, missing this, missing this last fork. And I don't know, like I kind of feel like it would just be a picture of a bunch of forks if you left that in. Like I think as it stands, I mean your composition is kind of, I like your composition. You know, I like how you've isolated your forks. I like how you're using shadows. And I like the simplicity of it. And I like the idea of using white velvet. I mean, I've used black velvet quite a bit because it just soaks up all that light. But
Mhm.
this white velvet makes it super clean, and I like the way the shadows are playing on the velvet. I think it's really interesting. It's very creative. And I like that you're experimenting with just very simple objects and light. I mean, I think that's a great way to play.
Yeah, my wife said, "Where are you going with all the utensils?" I said, "Don't worry, they'll be back."
Well, don't get in trouble.
No, no.
So, Julie,
I
you
just-
think by taking the
I just
bottom?
tell her most of them she doesn't use anyway, so that
Yeah,
got me in trouble.
oh boy. Say, Julie, you think by cropping off the bottom part of that farthest fork, does that create tension?
Cutting off the bottom, like sort of like
No,
this.
I'm talking about no, the way it stands, the way the photo
Oh.
is.
Yeah, I think here you have like your you have your this nice diagonal. You've got your
Uh-huh.
nice diagonal, and you've got, I think it would be just a picture of forks, except that you've decided to cut off that end. And can you see my pointer? sort of.
Right.
I kind of like that that's gone. I kind of feel like it creates a stronger image. And for me, I mean, that's just me. I think it would be kind of maybe even boring. This way it's kind of like you've got a little bit of mystery, like kind of over here.
Right. I'm thinking it creates a little bit of tension, you know,
Yeah.
makes you think what's going on over here.
Yeah. And you've got this nice, diagonal, just strong diagonal going through your photo. And I like you've got this nice negative space down here that it kind of grounds it. So I don't know, like, I mean, I kind of like it the way it is. And I do enjoy the symmetry of like, it's like the shadow and the forks are dancing together. It's like I mean, I totally think it fits I mean, it totally fits the category. I think you've done a fun job here.
Yeah, I did
And it's so
have,
simple.
I did have some that had submitted earlier this year, but it was called Dancing Forks. And the tines were intertwined, sitting on a countertop, and the sun coming through the back window. I mean, it came off really pretty good. But I had a bunch of forks, like I say, tine to tine, and they were just sitting there. And some of them were scooped up this way, had them this way and then also this way. It worked pretty cool. So again, just going in the silverware drawer and playing.
That's super nice. Does anyone else have comments before we move on? Very cool. Now we've got in the box, Spencer Carey.
Mhm.
What can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so this was I went to Columbus, Indiana with my dad and brother. And I was just walking around because Columbus, Indiana is very cool. And I just saw this and I took a picture. And I like really like this for symmetry because it's like 16 boxes, perfect. And then also the like ivy's only on the bottom. It's not necessarily on the top. But yeah, I was just like walking around and I saw this. So yeah.
Very cool. What
It
kind
has
of day? What was the light like that day?
It
Was it overcast?
Yeah, I mean, it was overcast. There was some clouds and sometimes like the light would pop out, but other than that, yeah, it was pretty overcast.
There's a lot of symmetry, not only the pillars going up, the floors going to the, horizontal, but also the wire guards going horizontal.
Right.
Yeah, and then the ivy too is almost the symmetry there, the way they've grown. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Is this a
Thanks.
parking garage?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's Columbus, Indiana for you.
Wow. I can't believe they didn't put something more sturdy than that fence across those ends, keep cars from going over the edge. That's what really grabbed me when I first saw this. But yeah, you have a lot of symmetry going on in this image. Because
That's probably like those
got,
safety cables that they have on I-70. Those
yeah,
are probably bigger than you think.
yeah, probably so. It just looks a little flimsy. But you even got those support, I guess the beams going from the columns going back into the structure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
You don't see them so much. You see them a little bit over on the right side, but more prevalent in those first three. Well, actually, you see them on three of them. The very center one and the one on the far right. You don't see them as much, but you do see them on the far right. But yeah, that adds to the symmetry of the whole thing.
Good shot.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
What was it that caught your eye when you were walking around?
I think the ivy on this garage because normally you don't see ivy on parking garages. So, and I think the symmetry. I mean, I was planning on I think going to try to take pictures of symmetry and not just look through my pictures, but I was kind of like pressed on time, and because I was trying to sell prints at the Merriam Farmers Market last weekend, and it was just kind of hectic. And I was like, oh, I gotta turn this in. So I was like, maybe my Columbus and St. Louis trip and Indiana trip will have symmetry. So um, yeah, I still have a lot of those pictures I need to go through, um, but yeah, this was the one I really liked.
Do you like to carry your camera around with you all the time?
Yeah, I guess my issue is that I take like too many pictures and then I don't like I've got like other things to shoot and then it's like, oh no, I need to edit these so that I have camera space. Like let's say like if I have like a baseball game that I need to take pictures of, and that takes up a lot of space, or another like a portrait session. Because the other picture I submitted was from a portrait session. Um, and so it's kind of like limited to how many pictures I can take, and then I got to edit them. So I would like to take more pictures, but it's kind of like you got to go back and look through them. Like if you take like 30 minutes and you take a couple hundred pictures, and you're like, oh, I got to go through all of those and then edit them. But so
Yeah. I really like that you know, I mean it's nicely seen. I mean it's I love the vines down in the bottom, and I like how they're just kind of growing so similarly. I mean, just this, it adds this nice organic element. You have this, very rigid, you know, man-made object that, is very, the lines are just very stark. And then you have these kind of wild, vines growing up. It's a fun picture. And your contrast is really nice. I like the soft light. Like I'm a big fan of like, evening, sort of just before the sun goes down, kind of this.
yeah,
But like in this case, like I like the soft light on it. I think
thank you.
it makes it kind of brings out a lot of the architectural elements in the
Mhm.
parking garage, and then gives you that nice contrast with the organic vines in the bottom. It's really fun. I think it's a really, really fun photo.
Thank you. Also, a thing that I've recently noticed with like black and white pictures is that like if you increase the like yellow or blue, it brightens up the picture. It's really weird.
Interesting. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think it really affects the like the color or the because sometimes like in a black and white picture and you edit like the red or the green, the yellow, the blue curve, it can actually just affect the whole color. But you just like change like the slider, and I think depending on like if there's the color of like yellow or blue in the picture, that maybe it comes out more. I don't really know how that works, but for some reason it just brightens up the picture. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't see the yellow, but I think I think you're right. That's very cool. That's a fun little trick.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, does anyone else have anything else to say before we move on? All right. So now we're on to Dennis's picture, joined together. Dennis isn't here. Does anyone,
He's probably working.
okay. Does anyone have any thoughts while we're here?
It's a nice composition. I guess there is some symmetry there.
Yep.
Um, anyway, it's a nice composition. He shoots really good stuff.
I definitely like the contrast. It's too bad he's not here. He could tell us about it. But I like the contrast. You know, the blacks are really nice on black, and you know, you get like you know, it's not too strong, like the you know, the light isn't too strong. It's kind of nice and soft. And so you really kind of can get a lot of the subtlety of the all of the elements, all of these architectural elements in the coupling, I guess it's a coupling.
It's coupler.
I'm sorry.
It's coupler. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool. It's definitely very cool. And I love how, you know, he just lets it go totally black down here. Kind of gives you like a little bit of grounding. Yeah, it's really cool. Anyone else have comments?
Yeah, from that angle that he shot that, you look at the very bottom from the center going over to the left side. What don't you see? You don't see railroad ties or a
Right.
track rail. So I'm
Right.
curious, where was it? You know, how, you know, was, I don't know, that really had got my attention when I first saw this. I'm like, where's the tracks? Because you should still see a part of them, you know, even at that angle and that close, you would see the railroad ties going across there, which would add to the image somewhat. But I find it more interesting that it's a bunch of leaves and sticks and you know, like dead foliage laying dead on the ground where you would expect to see railroad ties and gravel.
Mhm.
I find that interesting.
I think it would have been cool if the railroad tracks were actually there, and then he could have shot it maybe above, and then like with a wide angle, and then the symmetry of that, and then with the tracks as well. That would have been really cool. Besides just like one layer of like symmetry with the like the locking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on where this was, now this is actually an active train on an active railroad. You don't get on the cars because now you're trespassing and they can arrest you.
Oh, well then they probably should have arrested me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I did do a shot like this on another deal. It was a little expedition or exert. What do you want to call a little tourist train out in Abilene, Kansas, a few years ago, where I was actually able to get right above the coupler and shoot down where you see both rails and the ties and you can see the top of the coupler. But yeah, I'm very familiar with what this is, but it intrigues me that we don't see any sign of the track whatsoever. Now the far rail, yeah, that would be hidden, but
or maybe it's on the left side. It's that black thing, that black line. Maybe that's the track.
no, I don't think so. I don't think there's any
Or the
track showing
start.
in here at all. Now, there's probably one there
No,
because these things don't run on the dirt.
not very well.
No, not very well, not very far.
Nope.
But yeah, that's really has got my curiosity is where are the tracks?
Hmm.
You know they're there,
Good.
but you don't see them.
Well, it'll probably remain a mystery until the next meeting. All
Which will
right.
be in I think June or July.
Yeah, when is your next meeting?
Next after this will be September.
September. Right on. Okay, let's move on to open. Oops. I did that wrong. There we go. We've got coleus in sunlight. Calvin, want to talk to us about this?
Yeah, this is again another plant shot in sunlight. The coleus leaves are, you know, dark green. If you're not familiar with that particular plant, and those veins in the plant itself are a real deep red. It's a pretty plant. We've grown them out here in our garden before. This was this is at a I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's the oh crap. Can't think of the name of it. It's a museum out here in central Kansas. This is this is on the grounds. Crap, I can't think of the name of the place now.
Hmm.
And I've been out there, I don't know how many times, a bunch of times. But if you look close, you can see a few little drops of dew that is still on this plant because this kind of, a little early in the morning, not real early, but not real late. As like right there, you can see it drop. You can see a couple of drops here and there, and I almost Photoshop those out, and I thought, nah, fooey, I'm leaving them on there. If somebody sees them, fine. If they don't, I don't really care. But just the way these leaves came out by going to a black and white, there's no infrared filter on this. It's just black and white. Again, I did this the same way I did that the flower, where I just started playing with the light and the tones and brought up the shadows on the background, and this is what I wound up with. And I think it's cool because you got this bright,
Picture.
these real bright leaves in the center, then they kind of fade off to the darker leaves. The under leaves are kind of darker.
Did anyone have any comments?
Yeah, I think this works. It's almost three-dimensional.
I do like the lighting again. I'm thinking maybe potentially just like cropping like in the middle, because like the main point of it is just the bright leaves in the center. So like maybe like halfway, so that you just like mainly see just like those two leaves.
Yeah, I played with that too, where I got
Yeah.
rid of the leaves underneath there, but it didn't look right.
It didn't look right.
Yeah, it didn't look right. So
I think I think they're a good base for the leaves in the center. It gives it some substance. I like it. Yeah, personally, I think you need those back there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some really nice contrast. I like how ghostly it looks,
Yeah,
I mean, in
your
black and
eye,
white.
your eye is drawn right to the middle where you want it.
right, because the black underneath that, where it's really dark, that was all mulch. So I just burned that down and just kept going down with it like got black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice isolation of your subject. Really great depth of field there. I like how the eye is really drawn right to the center. It's really great. Your background is, I mean, it's not distracting. You've managed to like keep everything you're just showing what you want to show. I like your composition too. And yeah, the lighting is really nice.
Maybe like bring down maybe the white.
I just remember now where this is
Yeah.
at. This is at a place called the Volland Store. You ever heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, this is in one of the little gardens out on the side of the building.
Sorry, Spencer, you were saying something.
Oh, I was saying maybe bring down like just for my personal taste, maybe just like the highlights, maybe just a little bit down.
Yeah, maybe just a touch.
Because you are kind of losing a bit of like detail, like when you look like closer at the image. Like that leaf to the right, you can't really see like what it at like some parts of it, you can't see the detail.
That's totally fair. Very cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. Got cowgirls. Spencer, why don't you tell us about this one?
So this was the portrait that I was talking about. So this was a family portrait session, and they were like changing their outfits and putting on cowboy boots. I mean cowgirl boots. And then I was like, hey, like just wait, because this like ream of light was really cool, and I just wanted to take this picture of just the cowgirl boots with this like light right there. So, and the two smaller girls did not stand in line, so they like this actually this family wants me to do two more portrait sessions because the kids weren't really behaving. So and I'm thinking in my mind they're gonna not behave as well. So you can't really expect children to behave unless like I have like a piece of candy or like something. So it's not really gonna, but so yeah, that's what this picture is. I tried to like make it as like contrasty and like increase the clarity some to just add some more depth.
Anyone have any comments?
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's super
Actually,
fun.
I, I,
Okay.
actually, so I see maybe I could have like cropped in the back so that there's not that like that slight bright light in the background. Um, but that's like my only thing that I see.
Yeah, that would be my only comment. Like this little white
Yeah.
line kind of draws your eye just a little bit away from, this what's going on in the front. But still, I still think it's very fun and it's playful, and I like the cowboy boots. I like the textures. I like I even like the way the kids, aren't in the straight line. I like how they kind of gives a little random, kind of a little bit of a random element to it. And the different sizes of the people, of the girls, I think is really fun. The different ages. And it looks like they've got almost exactly the same boots on,
Hmm.
which I think is like amazing. All these different sized girls, and they all have very similar boots, if not exactly the same.
Yeah, they're all pink boots.
They're pink.
They're pink, yeah, with some like little like sparkles on them. Uh,
Wow.
which is if you can see there's like some it's kind of difficult to see. Uh, but
Oh, the sparkles.
yeah, there should be some sparkles, but
Oh,
um,
sorry.
and we're gone.
I'm sorry. I'm coming back. Here we go. Sorry, I was trying to make it bigger. There we go.
Um,
Is there one part you want me to highlight?
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they're just like little like pearls. Yeah, they're more visible like on the left side, the left boot. Oh,
Yeah,
look at that spark right there.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and actually, when we were going to a different, because this is at Loose Park. When we went to a different side, one of these girls didn't want to keep their shoes on, and they kept falling off. And I've got a fun picture of like one of like all of them have their boots on except one person.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's fun. Does anyone else have anything to say? Well, I like the composition. I like how you've you know, you've brought it, like, I think it's a very nice, strong horizontal. And you could probably burn this area down just a bit
Yeah.
and I don't think it would take too much just to like soften that a little bit so your eye's not quite drawn quite as
To the-
much.
Or are you talking about the bright spot back there?
Yeah, that little bright spot right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I could most likely just crop that. But are you talking about like also in the background as well? Maybe darken it down just a bit too, like down below that arrow, like your cursor,
like in
that,
here.
yeah, that area.
Yeah, you could probably do that and maybe lighten up the boots just a touch, like in here,
Okay.
since that's kind of your focal point.
Okay.
But I mean, I would still like it. I mean, it's just fun. It's just really fun. Nicely seen. I'm not sure I would have seen that. It's very fun.
Well, do you know Kyle Rivas?
Hmm.
He's a sports photographer. He was the sports photographer for I think the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for I think Getty Images for some events. And he's like very like contrast and very like slivers of light. Also Charlie, do you know Charlie
Charlie Riedel.
Charlie Riedel? Yeah, he's very like silhouettes, like slivers of light. And I really enjoy like his work with just like the sliver of light creating just an interesting composition. Because especially with like sports pictures, it's very like repetitive unless you get something different. Um, and yeah, that's what I love about those two people.
Yeah. No, he's Charlie Riedel's hardcore. He lives on a different planet.
Oh yeah, yeah, because I saw his pictures from who which or from the
Kentucky
Kentucky
Derby?
Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just yeah, it's because like what I see from like a lot of like great photographers is the ability to take something chaotic and just narrow it down. Like David Hewlett as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like I saw this picture of his from Andy Reid during the Miami Dolphins game, and it was the frozen mustache of Andy Reid, and he just
Yeah.
had just the top, like just this section of the crop, and you didn't really need to see the whole face, and you could tell that that was Andy Reid.
That's so funny.
So
Yeah.
I would love to meet him, but I have not met David yet.
Yeah, really nice guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah. I mean I can't wait because I just love his work.
No, he's a treasure for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I'm having trouble.
Well,
So I'm gonna
I think just go to the no.
it wasn't popping up for me for some reason with that long image. Okay, so Bill, tell us about your picture.
Well, I originally thought about taking this one for symmetry, and then I decided it was the wrong angle. And plus, it was shot on film, and it's not very clear. So I needed something for open, and I threw it in there. That's all I can say.
Is this a different kind of film? Like, is it are you trying to create an effect with a different kind of film, or
No, I had a digital camera and a film camera both, and I just shot the picture, and I guess I didn't focus.
does anyone else have any comments?
I really like the mystery of that car on the left, and you're like, what's in there? I don't like. I don't know what's in there. Is there gonna be like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or yeah, it's a very spooky barn.
Yeah, it's definitely a
This
spooky
was-
barn.
When this was originally built, they didn't have the two side pieces, so those were added a little later.
I know it's very difficult like with film to get like the correct focus because you don't have autofocus. Um, I don't know how photographers did it without autofocus back in the day. Um, that's my only comment.
Anyone else? So were you going for like a dreamy effect? Like, were you thinking, you know, sort of spooky, dreamy, like,
Oh, I'm not sure I thought about it at the time. I was just trying to get a picture of the building.
what was it about the building that attracted you?
Well, just the shape of it. I've always thought this was kind of interesting because of the two side ends. And they're actually open at both on the other side, but strangely enough, even though this is sunlight, there isn't any light coming through.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like this, like you've got this little area down here that like kind of is kind of drawing my eye down. And I'm not sure what that is, but like it's a little bit lighter. I might have cropped it a little bit. Um, and I think I mean, your blacks are definitely black. Um, I kind of feel like maybe you're missing the whites a little bit somewhere. I guess you've got some whites here, but it feels a little gray.
I agree.
Um, but but I like the idea. I like the barn. I think the barn has you're right. I think it has a really cool shape to it. And yeah, I mean, I could see I could see you going back and taking some more pictures.
Yeah, I would do it differently. One thing I'd use digital, but
And then maybe at night, and then you have a flash, and then you have someone in the barn, and then maybe you also bring like a chainsaw as well, and then some other things. Just some thoughts.
at a different angle, face on, you would
Hmm.
see the light at the other end. But as dark as it is, that's all you'd have, be a dark tunnel on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like how you shot it like three-dimensional and not just from straight on, because then you wouldn't get the full character of the barn. And then also you miss that tire on the side, that tractor tire,
Yeah,
which also adds a nice little little bit of oregano on there.
Yeah. I could almost see like figuring out a way for this road kind of adds a different dimension to it, like maybe using the road to kind of lead up to the barn maybe in some way. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what it looks like, you know, and if that's possible to get that shot, but um yeah, I like the idea of maybe a road leading up to it, kind of creating a little bit more interest. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool barn.
yeah. I think
Anyone? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
a digital would pick up the texture, I think, a little better.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Middle of the road, and Dennis is not with us.
It,
Um, I mean, this is really strong. I mean, really strong composition. What is everyone thinking?
If you could have brought that sky down a little bit, kind of bright to me,
Mm-hmm.
kind of pulls your eye up instead of the road, the road and following the stripe down the center of the road.
Or maybe get both of the lines on the road, because we see one side. I don't know if the road is deteriorated because you can't really see the other line of the road. Like you see the right side, but you don't see the left side. Um, but I do like the contrast. Seems like every picture of his is like the most like contrasty.
for me, a small animal, even a turtle, sitting in between those two yellow lines, right there just before you get to that curve, would have been fantastic.
Well, in Photoshop, it's really easy to, you could put like a little dinosaur right there.
No, something really realistic. Even if it was a small, any kind of a small animal like a turtle, because you don't generally see turtles crawl across the road, but
Oh yeah.
something like that sitting in the middle would really draw an interest. It'd draw my interest into it even more.
Like a roadrunner and then a little fox.
Little
Yeah,
coyote.
Yeah, coyote.
yeah,
Yeah.
Roadrunner coyote. There you go.
Nice. Well, I really enjoy this S curve right here. I mean, it's just like really nice. And I think you're right. I think, he could bring this guy down just a touch. I mean, that's solid. And I'm not a big fan of square photos, but I do think, I'm not sure what, I mean, I enjoy this one. I like how it really works. I'm not sure what having like more of the horizontal, I'm assuming it was a horizontal shot and he's cropped it in. Although maybe I don't know if he shoots square format, but yeah, and I love how these lines are just like super bright, so you really know where he wants your eye to go. So solid composition, nice depth of field. I like how it kind of the focus kind of falls off beyond this first part of the road. Yeah, I like the way that where the eye is being drawn. The background, I don't find the background distracting, even though there's some stuff going on over here. It doesn't really bother me because it's dark. And yeah, the lighting's just killer, really nice. Anyone else have comments before we move on?
I mean, I would probably have comments for Dennis. I mean, like how much like clarity does he use? How much like does he use the contrast slider? But he's not here, and we'll have to wait for him until September to get that answer.
It'll
Yeah.
have to be a mystery until September.
Or I could send him an email, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no one says this meeting needs to end, when we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, by all means, feel free to feel
Yeah.
feel
Because
free. I believe Dennis uses Lightroom too.
yeah, because I'm always like because when I first started this club, like I think it was like October of this last year, like I didn't think my like my photos would look pretty flat, and I was like, what, like why are my pictures so flat? And I still think my pictures are flatter than his, but his are just like very like it's almost like an art project. That's how like detailed they are and textured. It's almost like is this like the Netflix show that you were talking about, Tom? Like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, it's
Is it
definitely
similar
like
to this?
for POW.
Well, it's more buildings and rooms and
Yeah.
stuff as opposed to road. There are some roads in there, but again, it has to do with and coincides with the buildings. But
Mhm.
take a look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
All right. So here we have Reflections of a Glass Statue. Tom, tell us about this picture.
Okay. We have several of these guys' pieces. It's called Carved Art. They're down in Keachai, Kansas, which is right outside of Wichita. And he's a famous glass blower. He sells stuff all over the world. But we have this piece sitting right next to the television. And actually, I was trying to we have over the television, we have a piece of artwork that has metal that is interlaced almost, like squares, almost like a basket weave, but they're made out of metal. I was trying to get a picture of that for symmetry, and I just couldn't get it squared up right. So I'm just sitting there with the camera, and the light comes shining through as toward the end of the day, and it just was playing all over the wall, going through this statue, if you will, this piece of artwork. And I thought, God, that is really abstract. I need to get some pictures. So I took several. This one seemed to had more abstract than some of the others did. As the sun was moving, it changed. So that's the shot. That's the shot. So
Does anyone have any comments?
This is awesome. Yeah. Like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, especially with all like the reflections. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
yeah, I didn't know whether to leave the art piece in, the glass piece in or not. But I thought, no, if you crop that out, it doesn't have the impact of, where's it coming from? So
Yeah.
I left it in.
Well, I guess you could have like two pictures. Like one's like a mystery, and one's less of a mystery.
Yeah, you could side by side or something.
Yeah.
Those light patterns that's coming off that thing are just unbelievable. Those
Yeah.
are cool.
Yeah, I just sat there with the camera and just kept shooting away, and this one seemed to be kind of the best, I thought.
And Tom, how exactly does this look like in color? Does it look also cool?
There's not that much color there. The wall is beige. It is a textured wall, but it's beige. And the statue itself, toward the bottom, there's a little bit of color, but it's pretty much clear. And then you can see some artwork or etching down on the bottom of it.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that would be cool, like on like a colored wall.
But we have some other pieces that are colored, different shapes. This place is really, really cool. I went down the first time I ever went in there, I was looking at a piece and it was like, $300, $350. And they had one on the shelf farther down, was like $2,000. And I said, well, what is the difference between the two? She said, well, the one that's $350, if you look hard, it's got bubbles in it. And the other piece has hardly any bubbles, and those are museum type pieces. That's where he sells those pieces. And some of them are like $4,000 and $5,000, beautiful, beautiful, big, heavy ones, I mean, this thing's pretty heavy to begin with, but yeah, he's got stuff that he sells all over the place. But that was the difference, was the amount of bubbles or no bubbles at all. So
Wow.
I don't know if it's a different process that they do or whatever. You can kind of watch them in the back blowing some of these objects too. They've got bowls and all sorts of things down there.
Or maybe this one is the defect, and that's maybe why it's like 350, and the other one's not a defect.
No,
So-
again, there are some. If you look really, really hard, you'll see some bubbling inside.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Right, on the I'm pointing against, but right at the neck, the two necks there, you can kind of see some of that is sunlight bouncing off of the object, and then some of it is a little bit of bubbling. So, but yeah, that was the difference in the pricing. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy a $2,000 glass statue. So anyway,
I love the bubbles. I think the bubbles make it like interesting.
well, I'm just
Although, I
telling
mean-
you that's the difference in the price.
Right.
Wow.
If you ever have a chance to get down to Wichita, it's just on the north, right as you're coming into the Wichita area, you see a little sign that says Keachai. and it's pretty much the only thing in town. They have a couple of little other things there, but you can go in there and you could, spend an hour just walking around, looking at all this stuff. So it's beautiful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think this one's just really amazing. I love the depth, and I love the kind of shadows and the light that's playing off of, this glass statue. This is just really, really nice. And I do like, I mean, the light is just luscious. It's really, really nice.
Thank you.
I think your composition is really great. I could see like, different, kind of you playing around a little bit, and because it's almost like this part right here is just as cool as the sculpture. I love the sculpture, and that definitely adds a lot of depth, but I love the play of all this light that's going on in the background. Your depth of field is really excellent. Your focus is nice. I like the way it this one just kind of like your eye just kind of bounces around in it, which makes it super fun. Your contrast is great. And yeah, the lighting is just really nice. That's
Thank you.
natural light, right?
Sorry?
Is that natural light?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it. It looks very strong and focused.
Thank
Very
you.
cool. No, very nice. Nice job.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any more comments? All right. Well, I have to say, like, this was a hard one for sure. Everyone did a really awesome job, and this is the worst part. This is totally the worst part of my job.
I think there are aren't there two more, I think.
Are there?
I thought
No.
I saw.
No, there was only 5 each.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay. All right. So in the open category, let's go here. Third place is middle of the road. Like I think I said this one's really nice. I like this one a lot. Second place is Cowgirls. Thought this one was super awesome. Nice job, nicely seen. And first
Thank you.
place is Reflections on a Glass Statue. So I like to do things backwards.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, way to go, Tom.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
And going back to the open category.
Or do you mean assigned?
Hmm?
Do you mean the signed?
Oh, assigned. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Excuse me. Thank you. Symmetry. Yes, I thought this was terrific, Spencer. Balanced. Oh wait, no, is this in the box? This one's in the box. Pardon
Yeah,
me.
this one's in the box.
Yeah, in the box. Third place. Really, really terrific photo.
Thank you.
And oops, wrong way. Second place is Forked Shadows. Thought this one was really nice. I like that. I like the mystery. And first place is View of the Cosmos. Thought this was really fun. So yeah,
Yeah.
Way to go,
thank you.
Calvin.
good
Yeah.
job.
Pretty shot.
Good job to everyone. I mean, I love that you guys are so thoughtful in your comments. I love that it's a nice conversation. And yeah, it's nice to be around some photographers who are doing great work.
We
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Thanks, Julie, for your efforts. Appreciate it. Good comments.
Absolutely. No, it's always fun. It's always fun hanging out with you guys.
Absolutely.
Julia, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to look at our stuff and formulate your opinions, because we enjoy listening to your comments. Always have enjoyed them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, do
I
you
still
guys have other
remember
business?
I still remember presentation you did on the oh, now I want to get it right, but it was when you spent the time overseas with the
Oh, with aroma. Yeah.
the Roma. There you go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yes, that was a very interesting uh program you put on there.
Thank
Really like
you.
that.
Thank you. That was a fun time.
Yeah, and the other one I remember was when you went down, you went and spent artists in oh, artist, I forget now, but you went to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
That was super fun. Hot Springs in Alaska.
Right. You did Alaska too. Yeah. I remember you saying something about Hot Springs. Like, what's in Hot Springs? You didn't sound that excited when you first got there, but when you got down there, you found some interesting things down in Hot Springs. And I was thinking the same thing, like Hot Springs, Arkansas. I've been there. What's in Hot Springs?
Well, I tell you what, that is a fun artist in residence. They've got a little cabin and
Right.
yeah, they've got and they've got the hot springs, so like you can get I think I got a pass to like go and sit in the water. They have free mineral water. And
Sure.
it's amazing. It's really fun. It was a really good time. And then you can go hunt for crystals, I mean,
Sure.
I would not suggest going because it's like they have it through the whole summer. And I went in May. And for me, that was just perfect. Not so many bugs yet. And it wasn't super hot.
Right.
So if you ever like apply for that artist in residence, definitely do not like dally and say that you want to take the month of July because
Oh.
it's just unbearably hot.
Yeah, it is. There's the Vollen store out by Alma, Kansas, the one I was trying to remember the name of a while ago. They also now have cabins set up out there where they do artist in residence out there in the Flint Hills. Myself, if I was ever going to go out and do an artist in residence, I'd be making a beeline down there to sign up for their program. I got to go on a tour down there with a group from the museum down there, and also got to take a self-guided tour a couple years later, to different places down there around the Flint Hills. And I'm telling you, that is some of the most beautiful country. If I left here, that's where I would live. I'd be out in the Flint Hills. I
It is
love it
very
out there. It's
pretty.
beautiful.
And
It's beautiful.
And is that on Highway 56, Alma?
Alma, yeah, I believe it is something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Volland stores. You can actually Google Volland store, VOLLAND, and come up with it. But you heard of Reese Nichols real estate?
What?
Mhm.
You heard of Reese Nichols real estate?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's Patty Reese who actually runs the store or runs the museum out there.
Oh,
She's super sweet lady, really nice lady. Very knowledgeable. Actually, we got to tour their home out there when I went on that tour with the group out there several years ago, and they bought some old, I forget how old it is now, some old 1800s stone house, and they totally restored it. They restored the grounds. Oh my God, the place is just beautiful. But that other tour we took, actually, no, I took it on the first tour when they took a group of us out around together. We had permission to go into places that most people don't get to go into. They took us on private property. They took us into old homesteads, things like that that are left out there in ruins. And oh my goodness, I never saw so many neat places in my life. It was a fantastic tour. So if I was doing an artist in residence, that's where I'd want to be. I love that I love that place out there. I love the whole area. The Flint Hills are just fantastic.
so how exactly do you get like these artists in like resident like programs?
Well, each place that does this, Julie's got more experience than anybody here in the group, but they do put out an application every year or so, and you sign up and you tell them
Uh-huh.
what the only thing that they will want you to do, generally they want at the end of the run, they want a sampling of your work, such as you're doing photography. They'd want some of your photographs to use for display. And like I say, Julie probably tell you a lot more about it than I can because she's been there a couple of times in different places.
Yeah, like for example, like when I went to Alaska with the Forest Service, they wanted a print at the end. You applied, and you kind of had to have like an artist statement, and you had to talk about what you wanted to accomplish, like during your residency. And then I mean, each residency is different. Like this one, the one in Alaska, I ended up like having to paddle and follow these forest rangers, like
Yeah.
in this. I mean, I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into, but it was amazing. And you were out in the middle of the wilds, like
Yeah.
so, and I just followed him around, and we camped, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and that was super cool. And then, I mean, there's almost every national park. I think even the Tallgrass National Park, I think, or yeah,
Progress National Prairie Reserve.
yep.
Yeah.
I believe they've got a residency.
Okay.
There's and then there's it's a national park. I want to say it was one of the first national parks, Hot Springs
Yellowstone?
National Park. Hot
Oh,
Springs.
Hot Springs.
One
Yeah,
of the
Hot
first.
Springs.
One
Yeah,
of the
Hot Springs
first.
was the first.
And yeah, and that's a real fun one. I mean, and the nice thing is you meet like a lot of rangers, park rangers, and people who've like traveled all over the country, and
Yeah.
they know the park really well. I went on a lot of hikes. I went on a few kayak trips. It was amazing. I mean, being in the South, like everybody's very hospitable, and
Yeah.
I ended up like having like the first week, like going out to dinner with like a lot of, the park rangers, and they're just so nice, just so very nice.
Yeah.
But
And
there's
and how long is like the program for?
I could have stayed in Hot Springs for the whole month of May. If I, once they decide
Yeah.
once they decide you're the resident, like I could have stayed for 2 weeks or 1 week or 4 weeks, like, and so it could have been up to a month. It just kind of depends.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. I had a good time. I mean, I would have been able to stay. Like I think I was staying for a month, and then I had to go back, but then the next person wasn't gonna come in until like 2 weeks later. And they said, if you want to stay another 2 weeks, that'd be great. And I thought, I wish I could, because I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to be able to block some time out.
Yeah.
And
And are these like paid opportunities, or is it just for just going out and doing this project?
the none of the ones that I went to, you ended up having, I had to drive there, but once I got there, my accommodations were, I mean, free, and food, and I had to pay for food, but
Yeah.
but like the most expensive thing is blocking that time out.
Yeah. I see.
And then at the end, of course, they wanted a print. So making that print was expensive, and shipping it, but I think the time that you spend is so valuable. But the trick is like going to applying for a place that sounds like it's going to be interesting for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've been thinking of like parking lots for some reason because of like all the sprawl in America.
Yeah.
But I don't have a drone, so it's kind of difficult to do that unless I get one. So I've been wanting to practice more with video, but it's just yeah, it's just like the initial step of like just taking the leap of like how do I like do this and then edit and whatnot.
You have to
And
have control of sound.
Yeah, the sound, yeah, all three of those, like editing, the sound, and then also the movement, which is completely different from video. I mean, from photography. So, like those three things are pretty difficult to do, but it's just about making the leap. Because I know
Well, I
how
don't know if you've
important
looked into the drone very much, Spencer, but if you do, get ready for the civilian air test
civilian air test.
before you can fly. It's not that tough. It's time consuming.
Oh, is that the FAA test?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that certificate in your possession and you don't have the certificate to fly, you don't want to know what that fine is if they catch you out there with it. And
Yes.
they have now lowered the standard. Say, if I take my drone, I just go out here in my backyard and I'm flying around, and if anybody with law enforcement sees me in my drone out there moving around, they can come on my property and they can ask me for my credentials to show them that I'm authorized to fly that, and then I've taken the tests and I have that paperwork in my possession.
Hmm.
If I don't, they take the drone and they take me away. And I don't want to pay those fines. Those
Wow.
fines are getting stiff. They've had so many problems with people flying too close to airports and to the low flying aircraft. And here where I'm at, I'm over here off of I'm just east of 635 highway.
Downtown
When
airport.
when they first set up the perimeter for the downtown airport,
Yeah.
it was 6.5 miles northeast of my house. It's now about 3/4 of a mile. That restricted airspace has grown. It's getting closer to my house. It actually the restricted airspace now comes over and catches the far corner of the Maple Hill Cemetery, which that used to be out of their restricted airspace. So that's the other thing you have to stay up with. You have to stay up with where you can and where you can't fly.
Mhm.
I can go over and fly. I have to have permission to do that. If I don't get permission and they catch me in there, that's another thing I don't want to deal with. Yeah. Not doing much flying with his drones, Julie.
Yeah, yeah, he's not quite as much as he used to. He's got to get this transponder. Like now they want you to have a little transponder. And he hasn't picked one up yet. He's trying to decide, do I upgrade or do I get the transponder?
What, what is a transponder?
Yeah, it tells anyone who wants to search who's flying and where.
Oh, so it's like your like drone tag almost?
Yep, pretty much that's what it
Okay.
is. It's a drone tag, and I got one from this outfit, and I had problems with it. I was having problems figuring out how to get it activated, and they kept coming up with all kinds of errors and everything else. So I wrote back to the company and told them, hey, this thing ain't working. They sent me a free one. These things, this is around $200. The little
That
chip in here.
just that
But all I have to do is
transponder?
attach it to my drone. I take off and yep,
Oh my
yep. And
gosh.
they go off real cheap. And the real cheap ones that don't work that well. But then again, they go up to the price tag that you don't even want to ask what those things cost. And it's an overkill. Really, all it is like a little GPS beacon that tells anyone interested out there in the real world who's flying and where. Because
Mhm.
you can go online and you can do a search for any drones that are flying around you.
And like the owner of that drone?
Yeah, it'll give you the information on that drone, who's flying it, and who owns it, who's flying it, and where.
Wow. Which
The
which
altitude.
which website is this?
I got this from
Oh no, I'm at the website that I can look up
the website.
the drones.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of the website now. It's
Because now you're gonna get me down a rabbit hole of like looking at all these drones.
yeah. If you go to the FAA website, look on there. It'll have different links to
Okay.
these places
FAA
where you
drones.
can look and see who's flying what. But it's all about public information now. And there are ways of masking your personal information on these things before you send it up. It'll give your name and you know where you're flying and your altitude and all that. But you can lock out a lot of your. You don't have to put in all your personal information in these things.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that's another thing. As of March, I think it was March 1st of this year, thou shalt have a drone tag. Yeah.
Well, I hate to say this, guys, but I've got a feature due on Friday or running on
Okay.
Friday, so I've got to get back to work.
For
But
for KCUR.
yeah.
I guess you can't tell me what it is.
Oh
because it's
no,
probably...
it's a ceramic artist had a workshop at the Art Institute. He's Richard Notkin. He's kind of a famous
okay.
ceramicist, and he makes these anti-war teapots. So they're kind of made out of
Yeah.
made like hearts or skulls or things like that. So
Huh.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for Julie.
This
Thank
box I got
you.
here,
Thank you.
Yeah,
there's the
that's
tag.
it.
That's it. That's all
Wow,
the bigger
that's
it
it.
is.
That's $200 right there.
I call $100 right there. Yeah.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks
Bye,
a lot,
Julie.
Julie. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Well, hello, Mr. Schaff.
Going on.
Not a whole lot.
I'm trying to find the website. Is it just like
We missed
FAA?
you here through the meeting. Did you forget we were meeting, or have you been busy?
You talking to me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, no, I had something going on.
Oh, okay. Well, Travis was here early, but he had some deal he was doing, so he bowed out real early.
yeah. I'm gonna have to bow out. Hey, you guys have a great
Yeah.
summer.
I got
Okay,
a couple
Tom,
things to
take
do as
care.
well, guys.
Okay,
Bye, Tom, and go Royals.
yeah, go Royals.
Good night, fellas.
All righty, you take care.
Good night. Good night, Calvin. Thank you for this
All righty.
information. I'm gonna
Sure.
look more of this up.
Yeah, if you don't see anything, send me an email here the next day or two, and I've got it here somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay.
I've got it. I know I've got all that stuff in my on my desktop.
Yeah.
Because all that paperwork, I kept all that paperwork and all those sites I went to just to figure out where I had to take the test. And the test
Yeah.
is not that hard. I spent more time studying than I did taking it.
Well, that is understandable. But
You know,
do you have like which drone do you have?
I have the DJI Phantom 4 Pro.
Okay.
I've had it for a few years. I need to get some new batteries for it, because my batteries are starting to get old.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I've only had to send it back to DJI once because I was having troubles with it, and they found something wrong with one of the antennas in it, and fixed a little piece on the housing, and ever since then it's flown like a champ. But that drone is no bigger than that drone is. They can bring down a 747. Seriously.
Jeez.
Yeah. And being this close to the downtown airport, there are times I've been out here in the yard and military aircraft will fly over. And I'll swear some of those Chinooks, when they come overhead, if I had an apple and a little bit stronger throwing arm, I could toss the pilot an apple.
Yeah, in my area, I don't think I could actually fly it because I'm probably within that radius.
Yeah,
the
but
downtown
even so,
airport.
if you're in that radius, doesn't mean you cannot fly. You just cannot fly without permission.
Oh, okay.
So if you're inside that airport radius, you want to fly, you have to get the hold of the local FAA and tell them, okay, this is me, this is what I got, blah, blah, blah. Can I fly? And they'll want to know exactly the exact date, time, and how long you plan to stay up.
And also the height.
And yeah, because right now I can still go out in my yard and I can fly up to 400 feet without any headache.
But if you go above that,
without any permission. But
okay.
if I move over, if I go a couple of blocks north east of here, now I got to have permission to fly it.
Mm-hmm.
Even a few feet. So then you getting inside that restricted airspace, And yeah, they get real touchy about that because, because people have been too close to aircraft, passenger aircraft. There's a few terms that you really need to learn and keep under your belt with these things. And the first one is what they call an MOA. And when you see an MOA stuck on a map, you better find out what they're doing, because that MOA means military operation area.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they reserve the right to shoot you down. No questions asked. And I would put it past them. You got too close to one of the outlying bases, like down around Whiteman or someplace like that, or even out west around the big red one out there, the big infantry base. I'm sure someone out there would take you down. They'd shoot you down.
Fort Riley.
Yeah, Fort Riley. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fort Riley. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't want to get around the military. But my sister, when I went out to North Carolina, Tennessee here a couple of years ago, she wanted me to bring my drone out. Oh, bring it out here. We'll go up to Smoky Mountain National Park. Well, I looked at the park, and I looked at the areas out there, and I said, no, I'm not bringing it out there. She goes, why? I said, every area out there is restricted airspace. You cannot fly in national parks either.
Huh.
No and or ifs or buts.
I guess like only without permission from the national park.
National park won't even give you permission. They do not allow drones in the national parks.
Well, I mean, how exactly do they get like their footage for like marketing purposes?
Well, that's their deal. But for me or you to go out there with a drone and say I want to fly in the park, no. That's absolutely no. You can't do it, and they don't. You don't want to catch you doing it.
Do you need to have a drone before you take the test, or?
No, you don't need to have one before you take tests.
Okay.
It's just, if you're going to go through all that, either have your eyeball on one or be ready to buy one if you're going to use it. I need to get mine out and play with it a little bit more. I haven't flown mine at all yet this year.
Yeah, because I was looking at the price of just like that Phantom one, and it's like I think like $400 or so.
Wish I'd have got mine for $400.
Oh, really? Was yours like 600 or 800 at the time?
Try about 3,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I'm guessing there's probably cheaper ones, but they probably don't have as good as battery, maybe lower quality, like camera, maybe.
Well, the DJI is making one now that's called the Mavic, and they're a lot less expensive, but they're a lot smaller machine. They're lighter.
Mavic, is it the Mavic 3?
Huh?
Is it the Mavic 3 or is it the smaller?
Yeah, any of the Mavics. They're a smaller machine. They're lighter.
Oh my. They are. I think they're about how much like you spent for one.
Yeah.
It's like a grand.
My drone will fly 5 nautical miles across country, or it will fly as high as 5 miles straight up.
Wow.
Yeah. Mine has got a range on it. That's just the way they built it back then. There wasn't a lot of restrictions. Now, after everybody started getting these drones and flying them around everywhere, now they started clamping down on them. I bought my Phantom 4 when the Phantom 4 Pro just came out. That was the hot one out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's what Todd, I was talking to Julie about it. That's what he has, the Phantom 4 Pro.
Who is Todd?
He, I'm not sure who he was. Actually, a writer for the Kansas City Star. I'm not sure where he's working at. Do you know where he's working at right now, Bill?
He's doing freelance. I'm not too sure for who.
Oh, is this Todd Feedback? Is that the person that was
Todd Feedback? Yes.
Oh,
yeah. He and Julie go back way back, long ways. Yeah.
Because I was trying to find his website, but I couldn't find it. Or does he not have one?
Todd, I don't know if he has a website or not.
He just has contacts, probably.
Probably, yeah. I know he's on Facebook, because that's where I do most of my contact with him. He and I send messages back and forth once in a while, but yeah, he's a great guy. I know he's got one, maybe he might have a couple of drones, maybe 3 or 4 by this time. But even now, here's another thing about a drone. If I'm going to take photos or videos with my drone.
Mhm.
And I'm going to sell those images. Any of them, if I'm gonna sell them anywhere, I have to go back to the FAA and I have to get a full pilot's license to do that. And that's the same license that would let me go down to the airport, get in a small plane and fly it.
Yeah, that's more difficult.
Very difficult. Yeah, and the same if I'm gonna fly my plane or my drone, say I'm gonna fly over a neighborhood to take pictures for a real estate company. I can't do that without a full-fledged pilot's license.
Really?
Really. Yeah.
Huh.
If I want to go out
Well-
there as a hobbyist, fly it to my heart's content and stay within the boundaries of the law, I can fly it all day long without them saying anything,
Well,
put
because
any other restrictions on it.
I was talking with a real estate photographer, and all he said was that all I needed was just like an FAA license.
FAA pilot's license.
Yeah, that's that. Is that what you mean? Like for the
If you're gonna do
For the
commercial work
drone?
with it, yes.
okay, I thought you meant like an actual pilot's license.
It is an actual pilot's license.
Oh, but
It's-
it's not as long as the pilot's license.
Yes, it is. I've got a copy of the test here, and I'll tell you it's in a binder and about that thick, just the tests.
Oh,
And when you go in to take the test, you're allowed to take a protractor, a compass, and a pencil. And that's it. No cell phone,
yeah.
no calculator, and they will ask you questions based on aircraft location that was designed back in the 1940s.
Mhm.
And some of those questions are so weird, it's unbelievable. I almost took the pilot's license test just for the fun of it, but I was thinking I'm not going to be doing all that with mine, so why bother with it? Because
Yeah.
I think you have to have a refresher every year, and I think every 5 years you have to renew take the whole test over every 5 years or something like that. Mine's good for like 2 or 3 years, and all I have to do is take a refresher, and it's got a lot of really more. It's got a lot of dumb questions than it does anything, but it's easy to pass the test. I aced it the
Yeah.
first time through.
Well, I think for me, I think I'm gonna start doing like just little tiny videos first
There you go.
before I even do a drone. Because I mean, unless I don't know how to edit a video, then it's kind of not really that. I mean, unless you take stills, but that kind of defeats the purpose about a drone.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, that's something. My drone will shoot still images or shoot video, either one.
Mhm.
I shoot either one. And the nice thing about mine, I can take my drone up when it's windy, and I can watch that drone getting buffed around on the wind. And you look at that camera, and that camera is just sitting dead. I mean, it's just when it's locked onto something, it's just perfectly still. You can't tell there's any movement at all. It's beautiful the way that thing works.
Crazy.
But, yeah, it's got a pretty sophisticated little gimbal down there with a camera on it. In fact, I would like to get an update on mine because now they have more. They will you get zoom and all this. Where mine's a fixed focal length, but it does really good still and videos.
Yeah.
Just if you get too far away from something, the detail's not as sharp.
Well, thank you so much for that information, Calvin.
Sure. Yeah, it's you just have to just play by the rules and keep your nose clean. That's the bottom line.
And thank you for being the president. So hopefully we will see you in September, maybe.
Well, I'll be
you
around in
can.
September, but I plan to come back as a member. So I'm gonna
Okay.
send out a message to everybody. Tell them somebody get the bat and run.
Okay.
'Cause I've been doing this for too many years.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then-
I enjoyed it. I love it. I really, Bill and I have been president or vice president of this club for how many years, Bill?
Forever.
And then Bill, will you be coming to meetings
Yeah,
since
as
you'll
long
be
as
in
you're
Colorado?
As long as you're on Zoom, I'll be coming.
Yeah.
It's too far to walk.
Yeah.
Or to take the train. I don't think a train
Take
even
train.
goes
So anyway,
to
guys, I'm gonna get off of here
yeah.
and wish you all a good night. And
Yeah.
Stay in touch.
Bill, before you leave, if you find any more frames, I will gladly take whatever you have if you want to get rid of any more.
I think right now, I think they're all packed. Well, matter of fact, I know they're all packed up.
Okay.
So I don't have anything on my walls anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good night.
Night,
Guys, Spencer, take care.
You too.
night, Calvin.
All right, see you, Bill.
Bye.
I can figure out how to get out.